I'm going to be doing another AD&D toolkit video today. This is not directly Advanced Dungeons and Dragons or toolkit related. Well, it is related. It's another piece of software, a third-party application. It's called Obsidian. It's a text editor on steroids. Um, it's so I used to do all of my campaign work, writing all my notes and writing out my campaigns and whatnot in Google Docs. And that is a text editor, a word processor, right? Like Microsoft Word that we used to all be familiar with. And it's great. You can create sheets and folders and link within documents and things like that. It worked for me for a while. Someone introduced me, or actually a few people introduced me to Obsidian. I finally decided to give it a shot, took a look at it. It does seem to have quite a bit of a learning curve to it. I'm about a week in and really digging it just that first weekend, and have quite a bit I can already show you as far as the value of using something like Obsidian. So this here obviously is a dummy document with all of this Latin text. And I just want to show you some of the basics of how this works and how it can be of value to you, the power that it does offer you. So the first thing that jumped out to me, even before I got into it, just looking at the documents of other people, was all of this color coding and formatting and whatnot. And this is not done with WYSIWYG. It can be, there are plugins. So let me back up a little bit. This, like I said, is a text editor. It also allows you to create true CSS style sheets for it. You can paste in HTML or code in HTML, or just plain text. It operates off of Markdown. So again, you can put HTML. It does work with CSS, but Markdown, they're Markdown files, they're .md files, which is great for the universality of it. And it has plugins and extensions very similar to something like WordPress would. Is a community of developers for plugins for this and themes. But I just went with the straight out of the box theme and then styled it myself. And just looking at this, like I said, just face value. The color coding and the way you can format these boxes of content right away jumped out at me as being beneficial for me, because it makes it so easy to figure out where the information I need is. For instance, I styled this purple box with unique font to it, and this little prompt at the top, read to the party. This is information. Anytime I see this purplish box with the read to party prompt, that means that's information I'm going to read directly. That's narrative I'm going to read directly to my party. And that's the only place that you'll see that style. So every time I see it, automatically, boom, I know I got to read that to the party. This would be notes for me as the DM, important little tidbits. So this document here, with the typo, of course, or of course, more than one typo. This document is about one of my towns. And so for this town, actually, this is the viewing mode. If I convert to reading mode or editing mode, you'll see, like true Markdown, you create an H1 header with a single pound sign there. And then I was able to style this header in my CSS sheet. But so this is my town called my town. These are some notes about this town, the lord of the town and the tax rate. And then this is the information I would read to the party as soon as they enter the town. Then this is some notes privately for the DM about their entrance into the town. Then all of my encounters. So I like to have wilderness areas around my towns have percentage chances of random encounters. Bandits, wild dogs, things like that. And so my random encounters for each town are all in this reddish theme. And so for each town, like I would have town 1 there, and down here, I might then put my second town and then all its information below. And for each town up at the top, I have these encounter documents or blocks. And these are the percentages of running. If you do run into a random encounter, so 15% chance per day, I then roll another percentage die to see what grouping that the party encounters. So this again stands out to me very easily. More notes for the DM. And then within my town, I'm going to break it down with a standard ordered list. First building on the map would be a standard inn. Number 2 might be, the bank. Number 3 would be the blacksmith, and so forth. And so for each building within the town, I then styled details about the shop, what they sell, and so forth. So that's what's listed here. Any NPCs in this building or in the area, I have an NPC block. I put their information there, and so forth. So all of this color coding in blocks is really good at catching your attention as a DM, and you can whip through this document and know exactly where you need to go for your information instead of having a blank wall of black text that you might vary the font or make it italic or bold. This stands out so much better to me. It's so much more organized and easier, like I said, to capture my attention. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I found really intriguing that I wanted to check out is the link system, and it's intuitive once you get used to it, and so freaking helpful. So what I've started doing, and again, I'm only about a week into this program, so bear with me. Might not be I'm sure there's people out there who've been using this a lot longer and will have better suggestions for you, but this is my intro. So I create, well, let me explain this to you here. This is your file structure. So when you first get into Obsidian, you're going to create what's called a vault, and that's like a project. And within your project, you then have, you'll see in these capital letters, I have my folders. And within the folders, you put your documents, or they call them notes in Obsidian. So the NPC folder has these 4 documents within it, and you can just drag these around from one folder to the next. I'm going to leave it here in NPCs, but you just click and drag, really easy to organize. So like this document test, I can just put in my meta info folder, and I'll put test items in there also. That's really, I think, just for visual organization. But it will break links when you do that, or it can break links. So you just want to be careful about moving documents around after the fact. I don't know if there's a way to dynamically have links adjust within the hierarchy here of folders and or not. But so back to links, what I found really cool is I, for instance, create a page that has items and NPCs on it of value to me. So let's go with NPCs. NPCs that might be repeated in my notes numerous times, and I don't want to keep writing their information numerous times, because what if I decide I want this town leader here? He's the leader of my town. Here he is, my town leader. And what if I decide to change his stats? I don't want to, of course, right, go through the document, find the 10 instances with his information and change it. You're going to miss some, they're not going to sync up, and so forth. So I decided I'm going to create a single sheet for NPCs of note, and I'll list them all here. And then within any other document within this vault, so in any folder, any one of these notes, I can go into the source here and replace my town leader with, and this is how you start a link, with brackets. If the link that you want to link to is on a different note, a different file, you're going to get double pound signs, and then just start typing and it'll autocomplete for you. So I think I called this my town leader. Yeah, and so here he pops up. Click it, boom, back to viewing mode. That's a link to my town leader. Gives you a nice little pop-up, or if you click on it, it goes directly to the sheet and highlights it for you. Really cool. Back arrows here will send you right back to the source of where you clicked that link. And then you can do things like, I'm going to go back to source mode here, and let's say I want to stylize this link. I think this is very similar, or exactly like wiki links, the way it's set up. Put a little pipe there, and I can just type the name I have for this leader after that vertical pipe, and you'll see now it just says my leader. I've stylized that link here. And And so that is really cool. And I can just easily do that, or even just copy and paste this every time I want to reference this leader throughout my document. It's so easy to do. And copy and paste, yeah, is great, but really what I find more powerful is that ability to do this autocomplete function where it just finds what I'm looking for. And I just have to, start typing, it auto-completes, and then I click it, and I've got my links already set up. It's so cool for navigating within a large document that way. And of course, it's going to come down to you organizing your folders and files or notes appropriately, so that you can stay organized. Here you'll see another link to my leader. And just really, really cool. So, another thing I'll show you quickly, I guess, is, well, it's got tabs up here, and you can create as many of these as you want, just like browser tabs. The other thing I wanted to show you is with style sheets. So as I said, there's a community, a large community for this, with a Discord and forums and so forth, and all kinds of plugins and themes you can choose. Down here is your settings, and you'll see all these listed here. But if you want to do your own style sheet, that would be under Appearance. Scroll down, and they call them CSS snippets. It's really a style sheet. You want to make sure this is checked on to apply or to read your style sheet in. I have mine right here. If you click on this folder, well, click on Reload, and it'll search out all of the CSS sheets you have written. Go to your folder to find them. I have mine right there. And boom, here it is. This is my CSS style sheet, just like I would make for any other website. And then all of this is my custom work. Up here, I've just overridden some of the default CSS. And then that style sheet is what styles all of this with the colors and the way it handles headers and all of these callout blocks. Or my test document. So these colored blocks that you see, there's about a dozen of them by default. I have them right here, Markdown examples. These are a lot of them right here, starting with danger down. This red one and the purple one, these are custom ones I was practicing with. But these are all here by default, real easy to use. If you go into the source code, you'll see, for instance, this blue, well, let's make it easy for you. So we'll go down to the bottom of the list where you see the quote one. So if we go to the bottom quote, this is how you create a call out. All you need is this. That's Markdown Code. So all of these callouts you'll see have the same format, and you just plug in the text of the type of callout you want to use. Quote has a gray background, gray text with this icon to it, whereas example, so if I was to get rid of that, example, same format as this one, other than the name has changed, right? Example or quote, but this callout is purple with this icon says example. Now this is the way they're set up by default, but let's say this example one, I could use the default example callout, but call it something else like monsters, and then it'll put, the callout title will change for me. And if I don't have a title there, it'll just default to example. Really slick, really cool. Like I said, once you get used to the way Markdown works and Obsidian works, it's easy to work with. I styled these unordered and ordered lists to use these markers, for instance, a square to the arrow to the empty square. That's all with my CSS sheet that you had seen earlier. I did that all in here with my lists. But again, just real easy to use. And this is just a matter of tabbing back and forth to set up these nested, lists, list within a list. So I hope this is helpful for you. I hope it gives you some motivation to check out Obsidian. I knew about this for a long time and just didn't do it because of the thought of transcribing all of my work from Google to a new piece of software was daunting, but I finally bit the bullet, and like I said, only a week in, I'm really glad that I did. So I hope this gives you some food for thought, and maybe you'll want to check out Obsidian. You can find it online. I think it's Obsidian. Just go into Google, search for Obsidian. I think it's obsidian.md. But you'll find it. You can download it on so you can use it on mobile devices. I haven't done that yet. I've got it on my PC, obviously. And another cool thing is it's free. Everything is stored locally, so you are not using it through a browser. You're installing, and very lightweight, the Obsidian app. And you can save anywhere that you wish to save your files. You're going to pick a directory or a folder to store all of your Obsidian files into. You can create multiple vaults. Like I said, this is all one vault or one project with all of these folders and files in it. And I don't think there's a limit to how many vaults you can create. Create as many of those projects as you want. The vault is your primary or like root folder. And you can even do things like you can sync your Obsidian root folder or upload it literally to something like Dropbox or Google Drive. And then you can access those files on any device that you've got Obsidian installed on. So I've got Obsidian on my PC and on my laptop. And because my root folder is on an external drive like that, I can access from either device and edit the same documents. Really, really slick like that. I do believe there's an issue with mobile devices. I don't know that they will sync up with Google Drive, say, unless you pay. I think it's a subscription basis. So if there's a paid version of Obsidian, which I haven't got to yet. But really cool piece of software. And like I said, there is quite a learning curve to it. I got, I guess, maybe a little bit of a head start. I know a bit of web development, and so this felt very familiar to me. I've also worked with Markdown within community forums and Discord and so forth. But if you do have a little bit of that experience, either with web development and knowing just about HTML and CSS, it'll give you a jump start here. Also, if you know if you're familiar with Markdown code, that'll give you a jump start here. And one other thing I did want to just note to all of you that I discussed earlier, or at least I mentioned earlier, didn't really discuss it, but HTML. You can use HTML within Obsidian. Yeah, I always write my nested tags like that. Not everybody does. I like to make sure I open and close everything all at once. So here's a very quick rudimentary table. So like I always found tables troublesome in like Google Docs or any other word processing document like that. You can use HTML in Obsidian to just get things done easily, and you can style them with CSS. So I would imagine, I haven't looked into this, but maybe you can even somehow integrate some JavaScript. I don't know if that's true or not, because that would be a security issue, potentially. I'm going to look into that. But definitely HTML and CSS, and I find that fantastic. I have found that there are some WYSIWYG plugins. What you see is what you get stuff. In a word processing software, you'll have bold, italic, header buttons up towards the top where you can just select text and then make it bold. So you'll see I have that here. When I go into my editing mode, I've installed a community written WYSIWYG toolbar. And so if I want to take this regular text and make it bold, I just select it, click bold here, and then it puts the markdown, which is fantastic. It puts the markdown automatically in there for you. If there is something you want to do that doesn't exist within Markdown, like changing font color, it has that too, and it puts in HTML and CSS for you. Actually not, I don't think it does any CSS stuff, but has the HTML in here, and it will do red bold text. So really slick, really neat. I suggest you take a look at it, and hopefully you'll find it useful. Hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you at the next one.